get started
Are
here.
you scared we're gonna have to drink this one first?
Nah, I think it's a fair fight. I think there's some good stuff up in here.
I like that there's a couple that are like, like the pappy and that are just like almost unobtainable, but you also have some other options in here. If they can compare it, like compete, I guess that's a cool thing about blinds and like for your channel is like guys will be like, cool, like there's still good bourbon at good prices.
Yeah. Well, drinking buddies, I think we got a really great flight planned here. We wanted to go and just taste a bunch of whiskeys at different ages, blind, see what the subtle differences are between each one. I'm really excited.
You too. Let's get it out.
Let's go.
I'm your drinking buddy.
All right, drinking buddies. So we started with this crazy Still Austin 2-year-old whiskey. Now that might sound ape stuff. That might sound crazy to throw in a blind with something 23 years old, but things age differently in Texas.
Yeah.
So
I think a cool part of this blind will be us thinking that some of this younger stuff could compete with some of this older stuff, and that you can find something on the shelf that is compared to something that you'll never find, but.
Yeah, if Still Austin's available in your area, this is totally an obtainable bottle. Calumet 16, if Calumet's available in your state, Calumet 16 sits on shelves.
Yeah,
so
it does. I saw a lot when I was back in Iowa. I saw a bunch there in Nebraska.
So while this is a unicorn, the Evan Williams 23 is a unicorn, and this is a heavily allocated bottle. So we kind of got a little bit of a shelf versus allocated versus unicorn thing going on here too.
Yeah, so a little in between, competition between the ages, but. Evan Williams is, I've had all these except for the Still Austin, and you've had all these except for the Evan Williams 23. So
2 years, Still Austin, 116 proof, 10 years, Old Rip, 107 proof, Calumet 16, this is out of Barton, and it's 106 proof, Knob 18 is 100 proof, and the Evan Williams 23 is 107, right?
Yep. Yeah.
One thing that I thought was cool when I poured these and mixed them up, they look like they're pretty similar in color, which I thought was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I thought that you were going to have to use the
black lens or something, yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Awesome. Cheers. First one.
Class one. You know what we're drinking, we don't. Ooh.
Nice.
That is very nice.
Wow, you're going to say damp basement.
Yeah, damp basement is what I was thinking. But there's also raspberry here.
It's crazy when you say like a note and then
you like influence the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched a video where I think it was Bourbon Real Talk, where he was feeding fake tasting notes to them and they were agreeing. And it is one of those things where it's palates are each taste is subjective and each palate is different. So. But yeah, I definitely get like raspberry.
When I first was getting into bourbon, I bought this kit and it had all like the notes that you could smell from like, from oak to vanilla and it just was like 20 different ones, the spices, and they just, so you learn like when you're nosing something, like what you're smelling is right.
Yeah, I've heard of
in the dark.
I've heard of those things, but I've never used one. That's pretty oaky.
That's an oaky gal.
That could be the 23 right off the bat. It could really be.
I told you, if we go with the 23 right off the bat, it might.
But that's not over
Hurt her.
That's not over oaked. Whatever it is.
No, I mean, it's oaky, but it's.
Yeah, that's it's got a really nice like oak presence that really brings in like leather and medicinal cherry. Mm. But it's not overdone. It's not. I think that most of the time when something's over oaked, the proof is too low. And so you washed out a lot of those flavors. If you keep a 18 plus bourbon at 100 proof or higher, it's not gonna lose those fruity qualities, the vanillas, the caramels.
Right, I agree. I mean, I feel like this could be Knob Creek 18 too.
This is batch 1 of the Knob Creek 18. I do have the batch 2, but I haven't popped it yet.
So Either one of those two. I mean, it's got to be. Right?
Yeah, I think it has to be one of those two. I agree.
But your typical like bourbon, caramel, vanilla is just super intense, oak intense.
Yeah, very great pour. Whatever's in that. Similar nose to glass one, where it's.
I think this is more like kind of creamy.
Okay, I could see that. A little bit of like a buttercream thing.
Yeah, like.
I also get that damn basement thing, but not as strong as it was on one.
I don't get as much as the first one, for sure. Maybe a little bit darker. It's like a vanilla cream soda-ish to me. I don't know.
Yeah, giving me a little bit of that, like that,
caramel.
Like that, a little bit of that, like grape musty thing you get off of like Stag is something I'm getting here.
Okay.
There's oak on that guy too.
That's really good too.
That one actually had more of the. That actually has more of like the medicinal cherry and the leather than the first one did.
I agree. More like tannin.
Yeah, like the drying thing where you like it hits your tongue and it kind of just like soaks into your tongue and dries it out.
It's really good too.
This is going to be a fun flight.
You like my shirt?
I do.
I do too. It's fitting a little tight, a little snug on me.
Yeah, I told him not to flex.
It's fitting like a medium.
Extra medium.
This is a 3X too.
Really? I was gonna say, dang, I wear medium. This and other shirts are available at I'mYourDrinkingBuddy.com. Shameless plug.
They're good shirts, good material, nice and stretchy. You know,
shows off his muscles.
Yeah. Might have to turn into a workout shirt, cut off the sleeve.
Yeah, that'll work. Last 3. Cheers, bud.
Grainy.
Yeah, this one's a little. Young. Yeah, this one's got some youth on it. Maybe that's just because the first two were, possibly 18 and 23 years old, but.
Shoot.
Caramel and vanilla for sure too, like classic bourbon things. Nothing.
Yeah. Grainy.
Nothing jumping out to me as being like.
What's the mash bill for Distill Austin?
I think they're a high rye.
High rye.
I think they're a high rye.
I'm not getting any rye. I'm getting some corn.
So yeah, it's a pretty high rye. So it's 70% corn, 25 rye, and 5 barley. So really low barley.
Okay.
So. That's got a really nice mouthfeel.
That does.
Viscous.
Coating.
Yeah.
But you get a lot of that. What you got up the nose kind of transfers and
the bourbon vanilla,
right, very smooth. Because if that's Distill Austin, and that is 120,
116.
116.
So right, I didn't want to go higher than that. But.
Right, that's the highest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not drinking hot though. I think to me, it's giving me.
That's what it is.
But the fact that it is giving me such a great mouthfeel does kind of give it away that it could be barrel proof. And that's the only barrel proof up here. That's the only that viscous quality I think is. But I could be wrong. It might not even be that.
Really good, like salt, like aged bourbon that is very viscous but lower proof, like under 100.
To be honest, it could be this too. It really could.
I don't think it's that. I
think it's a still.
It's not the Calumet.
No, the Calumet is.
I think we already drank the Calumet.
You think that was 2?
I think that was 2.
I think that 2 was knob, but I could be wrong. Yeah, that one. I definitely think that's standing out as being one of the younger ones, but the first 2 are standing out as being 2 of the older ones. So, what are we learning here today? If you age bourbon longer, it'll taste different.
Hey.
It's crazy,
but still very good and great flavors and just good typical bold bourbon flavors in there.
And really sweet. Like the sweetness really carries through onto the finish more than most bourbons do.
Yeah, kind of confectionery.
Yeah, like, and it like a lot of the finishes on bourbon are not that sweet, not like carrying over that far.
Cheers, number 4. Kind of similar nose to 3. Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit more on the oaky side.
There's a little cherry on here.
You smell cherry? Okay. Smell.
There's also a little subtle nutty thing on it too.
Get any nuttiness?
It's subtle, like not peanut. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. I'm going
a
in.
little fruit. I dig that. That's super cherry. Wow.
Yeah, it's very cherry.
Holy crap.
Both of these are a cherry bomb for me. So
Yeah,
it actually
the Calumet.
I think it's this though. I do. I think that's
You
this.
think?
Yeah.
I was getting. Yeah.
I might need to be going through them again to guess, but
You're almost out too. You're at the bottom. Do you think it's changed at all, the taste from the start to finish?
very, very subtly.
Yeah.
Very
And how long
subtly.
have you had this bottle?
Like a year and a half.
That's it.
Yeah.
You breezed right through it.
I did. It was so good. Well, I've used it in a lot of blinds and I've shared it with a lot of people. So
What a good guy.
in fact,
What a good buddy, dude, man.
we recently did a blind. I did a couple buddies did a blind, and we actually had both of these in there.
I think
Just remember that.
I think it's like the coolest label.
It's a great label.
Ever.
Yeah, it's so iconic. Like it.
Mixture of the red and like the cool like writing on there and the font.
Asleep
Cool,
for
like,
many years on oak.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
just looks a little. Yeah. That's really, really good.
Mm-hmm. That might be maybe I think it's the Pappy or Van Winkle, whatever. It's not technically a Pappy. Maybe I think that's the Van Winkle because I think that could be my favorite so far.
It's either the Van Winkle or the
Calumet.
the knob because
Okay, I could see that. I don't think it's oaky enough to be the knob, but honestly, these two I remember being pretty oaky.
It's oakier than 3. Not as oaky as 1.
Yeah.
Calumet is kind of this age, and that's a blend, right? I mean,
Calumet?
It's a
very, very small blend. Yeah, like
because Sam Houston was very similar.
Yeah, they're definitely very similar. So 19 barrels went into this batch, so very small. And this is a single barrel. And these are pretty small batch too, from what I understand. They don't usually use stuff much older than 10 years. This is 18. Like as far as I know, they're just using 18-year-old barrels. Meanwhile, I didn't want to throw in something like this, where it's 13 to 20. Like they're putting 20-year-old stuff in most of these.
So I think so far, 4 is eaten. I'll have to go back to 1.
Yeah, I agree. 1 and 2 were very good, but they also had a lot of similar notes.
Yeah.
So.
Quattro? Oak.
Cinco.
Cinco. Quattro.
Don't feel bad. You can count in Spanish better than Bono. There's that one song, he starts 1, 2, 3, 14. Like, what's going on? Nobody got that? Like, nobody stopped him from uno, dos, tres, cuatro, catorce? Like,
let him ride.
I love this B-roll that'll never make it into the thing. I'm totally going to cut this.
Nice and oaky.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Mm. I went right into it. I kind of forgot what we were doing here. We're doing a whiskey tasting here. That's right. There's a camera there.
Okay.
This is Calumet 16.
This is Calumet 16.
Yeah.
I've had this before.
Yeah, and it's like if you want to taste medicinal cherry and taste medicinal cherry in like not a bad way where it's not like too medicinal, it's just like this is like the quintessential medicinal cherry bottle. Like like I've been thinking about doing a video like that where I find like a bottle that just like gives you one flavor super well And that is for me, medicinal cherry is Calumet 16.
That's a good idea. Like you can do
Um,
cherry, you can do
yeah, they're
blueberry, you can do like a
butterscotch bomb.
butterscotch bomb.
So example, just. Yeah, this is the Calumet 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I crushed a whole bottle of this. Right.
I know I'm sad. I have included it in a few blinds, so it's gone quick, but I'm going to buy another one when this is gone
For
because I
me,
love
the
it.
Calumet 16, when I first cracked it, was so like oaky and like a lot of barrel char and like cigar. So it was very tannin when you first
Forward.
Yeah, when you first popped it. But then as I got like halfway down, it was so sweet. Like it opened up and all those like cherry notes like were more on the forefront as opposed to like some of that smoky, like, I don't know, it was just,
You know what would be
it wasn't my favorite when I first bought it, but then it was like, it was just so good at the end of it.
You know what would be a fun experiment is to take 2 bottles and that you bought on the same time that came like from the same barrel. So maybe you're picking barrel picks for this.
Right.
And you set one on your shelf and not open it. And then you open the other one and then go back to them like maybe like 6 months later, they'll open one and compare it to the closed one. Cause I would have wagered that they would taste the same. Not because I'm not saying the neck pour isn't real. I'm saying that the neck pour is more, it's sat in the bottle for a while. Like a lot of the stuff you're buying went from the distillery into the bottle and it went to the shelf and it's been in the bottle for not very long.
Right.
So I think that it's just more of sitting in the bottle than it is getting some air in there because there is air in every bottle. I think that'd be a really cool thing to see. Because I'm a little bit of a neck pour doubter, but not in a way that I don't think that it's not real. I think that people often like I've heard of people. I've seen videos where people are like, "Oh yeah, I buy my bottles, I pour out 2 ounces."
Yeah.
Like what? Like what?
Not me.
That could very well be trolling, but it's anyway.
I think that's
random,
a good video, good experiment.
Yeah, medicinal cherry, oak, vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon on that one. That one's probably got a little bit more baking spice than the rest, to be honest.
Lots of spices.
Well, we're going to go back through these. We will come back, and then we're going to try to make some guesses, and we'll tell you what our favorite is.
I would say my favorite, I keep going back to 5 because I just, I'm a huge vanilla fan, and I get a lot of vanilla. And
the first one.
The first
one.
So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm beginning to learn to like oak a lot more.
One is definitely the oakiest.
So much, but I actually, it's been a few years now that I've gotten into bourbon, and at first oak was very like repulsive, and now it's like I like it. It's weird. But I get a nice strong vanilla note, which I really like, and I don't know, it's just great, man. I'd say that's my number 1. And then I'd say my number 2 is number 4. And then my number 3 would be number 2.
Okay.
Or sorry, number 3. Yeah, 3 would be, no. 3, was that the young one?
That number 2 is the Knob 18,
yeah,
I
Knob
think.
18, yeah. So if we think that's Knob 18. I don't know. I feel like this is close. This could be 3. I like them all.
Yeah, I definitely like them all. I think that I will say that the Still Austin, I think, which
Kinda
is I think it is 3.
That's number 2.
But it's 2-year-old whiskey, and we put it up against. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, that one did stand out as being like probably weaker than the rest of these, but not in a bad way. It's still a great whiskey. For me, I think my favorites are 4 and then 5. I really like the oakiness I get off of 5. But it just delivers on this like cherry medicinal bomb for me that I just love. I love it. Yeah. And then on 4, you just get, it's more candy. These two are, I like cherry in my bourbon is basically what I'm saying here. But yeah, 4 is like a candy cherry bomb. So
that's the one I kind of was saying that was kind of cream soda-ish.
I think we have a consensus on the guesses too, right? So let's both queen sweep this. This is the 23.
23.
This is the 18.
18.
This is the Still Austin.
Yep.
This is the Old Rip 10.
Yep.
And this is the Calumet 16.
Yep.
Let's find out if we're right.
I think the Calumet 16 was the most obvious one to me.
Number 1 was the 23. I agree completely. 18. Still Austin. Old Rip 10. And Calumet. And so we both queen sweeped it.
There you go.
This was fun. I really I just wanted to compare the different years, the different amount of oak, and you know what? Honestly, you can get a really oaky bourbon that's 6 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
Depends upon where it was aged in the brick house.
Yeah.
Depends on the climate. Depends
the size
upon
of the barrel.
where you aged it. If
there's some really low age stuff that the craft distilleries are starting to do that are just creating so much flavor in a short amount of time. It's crazy to think how they pull that much flavor in that short.
Yeah, I mean, even somebody like Smoke Wagon, they take MGP bourbon and you can age it in Nevada for a short amount of time, and you end up with something
totally different flavor.
radically different. Yeah.
Right. And cool that we thought all these were great, and all had their unique characteristics, and depending on what your palate likes, everyone's a little different, and all really good, and good to know that still Austin
delivered.
Tastes great amongst all these great pours. So
I actually think I liked it a little bit more than the Knob Creek 18. I think those were my bottom two. I liked everything I liked up here. I'm splitting hairs, but so
I think the Knob was a little bit, to me, is a little bit more complex. You get that little more depth of flavor.
Yeah, I definitely
still really good for a young, super young, right? 2
years. 2 years. You make a good point here, because the Knob, every time I went back to it, I was picking up something different.
Yeah.
So gives you a nice ride.
Yeah, and I haven't had Rip 10 in a long time, and I forgot what.
After I finish this, I probably won't have it for years either. There's not much left here, and it's such a unicorn. So
yeah, that was my second favorite. First favorite was the 23.
Yeah.
Third was the Knob. It was a tie between the Knob and the Calumet. I kind of.
My friend Jim is going to love it that you picked the Knob over the Calumet. So. Anyway, drinking buddies, thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for Brooks for coming here to have some fun with me, bringing that awesome sample of the Evan Williams here. And we'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cheers.